The right people will love you for what you have to say, not what you look like. Whenever I have a moment where I don't feel good enough out here, I'll just say, it's okay. I'm trying to attract people by what's going on in here. We grow up as women feeling really ashamed that we want to have sex and that we want to do sexy things with our bodies. I have explored my body. I know my intimate side now. I'm in touch with her. You can pleasure yourself, and that gives you the power, and I think that's why women are discouraged from a young age to masturbate. Wow, young me right now is so proud of who I am today. I bet they are. Young you, I know you might be in a tricky position, you might be really insecure, you might be going through something, but I know that you have done some amazing things and that you are really caring and that you're really self-reflective, hence why you're watching this video. Okay, hello, welcome to my video. You are balancing on my sofa, so if my phone drops, you're going with it. Blah, 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 blah. Today I'm going to be, well, firstly making myself a nice festive drink. I am feeling really relaxed. It's the day after Boxing Day. This is actually quite a wholesome video for me. Just want to give some positivity back into the world. I'm gonna add some cinnamon. I actually add a lot of cinnamon. I absolutely adore self-reflecting, and I absolutely adore speaking to myself really kindly, and I've got so good at that over the years, which is why I was really excited to make this video. And I also thought, I bet so many people need to hear this. Why do we enjoy seeing like self-deprecating humour? It makes me think maybe because that's what we do to ourselves, so it makes us feel more comfortable in being cruel to ourselves. I want to encourage you to be kind to yourself. Right, I'm gonna have a quick sippy sip of this. I'm sweating so much right now. I've got a big fat light on my face because I'm filming whilst it's going dark because I'm a clever clogs. It's the only time I get the house to myself though, and I just don't particularly enjoy filming around other people. She's cold. Oh well. She'll do. Cinnamon is also anti-inflammatory, so for those of you who bloat a lot, let's make sure the girls are nice and tucked in, no nip slips. This is going to be a really positive video. I think we all need a bit of positivity, and I think we're all so used to talking ourselves down. I think we need to take some time to relish in our accomplishments and who we've become, and hopefully if I do that on camera now, then it'll inspire you to do that. Okay? What film is that from? I'm giving you a moment. Get Out. That's the film, by the way. I'm not telling you to leave my YouTube video. I've just swallowed lots of cinnamon. I'm wearing a really itchy cardigan and it's really hot in here, which is why I need to speak slowly and calmly because senses tend to overwhelm me. So if I'm feeling any sense intensely, I start to freak out, and I'm quite hot and this is quite itchy. So this is going to be a really calm video. So the first reason why young Alessia would be so happy to see who I am today is because I don't really want to go on those nights out anymore where you dress up, you spend ages trying to look your best, and then go out and barely talk to your friends, because that is not fulfilling, and that's actually a one-way ticket to feeling self-conscious. Young Alessia was so desperate to get the attention of men because we grow up learning that male validation equals success, that male validation is the most important thing for women. We grow up learning that we exist in a man's world, and in order to fit into that, we need to serve men, we need to look good for them. And that haunted me for so long, and it still does. I'm not perfect, and with everything that I go through in this video, I want you to know that I'm a flawed human and I'm insecure and I'm going through stuff all the time. But at the same time, I've got to a place that I'm really proud of, and a place where I can go on a night out, but focus on the people I'm with, focus on my friends. So I'm no longer interested in those nights out where the sole purpose is to look good for men. I don't want to go clubbing anymore in an outfit that I'm uncomfortable in, but I feel like appeals to the male gaze, appeals to what looks good and what's feminine and what's sexy. I wanted men to think, oh my gosh, she's sexy. I wanted that form of validation because I was taught, like every other woman, by means of media, films and TV and adverts and at school, to look to men to validate me. And I really lent on that, and I really wanted men to find me hot all the time. It's only in the recent year and a half, in which I've really stepped into my era of thinking, I'm so done with freezing my ass off in a short skirt in the middle of winter, in an outfit that I wouldn't wear every day because that's not me and that doesn't feel comfortable. I'm so done doing that, because the looks that I get from men and the validation that I get from men in that moment is momentarily nice, and it gives you a momentary high because you've been trained to please men. So when you do please men, a big part of you is celebrating. It still lives within me. It's been completely typed into my core. It's really annoying. I'm sure you can relate. We are taught from such a young age to be very concerned with how men view us. But that validation makes you feel good for about 5 seconds. And then you're like, well, what next? I still feel unsafe in the world. I still don't really feel like I'm being my true self. I still feel empty. And honey, that's when you look for good friends and you start talking about what you deeply care about, and you start researching topics that you have questions about, and you post a YouTube video like me. I'm joking, you don't all have to do that. I just found that YouTube was my way of putting myself out there and exploring my inner self, and that is what I'm really proud of. I'm really proud that I'm no longer concerned with going clubbing to show off my outer self and try and get attention from men because of how I look. I remember going on nights out with friends and just feeling so disconnected from them, and we'd all be trying to look good and pouting a little bit in the club with music on, dressed in outfits that we wouldn't wear during the week because they don't really echo who we are. We're just trying to attract men. So just be this really horrible experience, unless a man who was fairly nice showed you attention, which, in a busy room full of people, there'd be chances where men wouldn't show you attention, and you'd think, oh, well, all for nothing. So I'm no longer looking at nights out. I love a night out though, don't get me wrong, but I'm no longer looking at nights out to give me something. I'm going with the intention of having fun with friends. Obviously I'm in a relationship, but in the period that I was single, I had this mentality, and it really helped me keep my sanity, because I think in first year of uni, I was going crazy because I was just constantly on the lookout for men and trying to appeal to men. And that felt really rubbish when, for half an hour you'd just be stood there trying to look good, trying to get attention, and no one's looking at you. But I completely get why you do it, and don't judge yourself for that and call yourself vain. You're just trying to survive in a world designed for men, a world where women are taught to be ornaments. It's not your fault, but at the same time, if you're in a position where you're trying to go clubbing all the time because you want to find someone, maybe try and go to places that echo who you are. Go and join a yoga class, or I went to vegan camp out and there were so many cool people there, and I think I'd much rather, if I was single, meet someone in a place like that, because there's space to talk about who you are and forge a more genuine connection. In a club, it's going to be a very superficial connection because you can't talk over that loud music. I just think clubbing overall is something we all need to talk about a bit more, because I think at a certain age you're obsessed with it, and it just reflects where you are mentally and with your self-esteem. And I think as women, we can get so excited about the prospect of maybe getting with someone, but really if we break it down, what does that mean? Just don't want to put any blame on the women. I just want to share where I'm at. But I tend to start giving advice because that's just me for some reason. I don't view myself as some superior person with lots of knowledge. I've got knowledge, and I've got life experience, but yeah, sorry. Tangent. I kind of went off clubbing because I knew it was going to tear me down, not build me up. Now, when I go clubbing, which is blimmin' rare, and I haven't actually for ages, but when I next go clubbing, I'd want it to be with my friends, to actually dance and actually have fun with them, and wear something that I'm comfortable in. which is probably going to be something like a bit booby, but maybe trousers. I'm not much of a skirt gal. Yeah, and I'm not going to be clubbing regularly, just because I feel like it can attract certain types of men that aren't particularly enlightened on feminism and on how to treat women. So I don't know. I just remember frantically looking around the room in clubs all the time, trying to see if, you know, there was a hot guy, and then if I spotted him, if he was looking at me, and posing myself so I look my best. And it's just actually a really stressful experience. So I'm really proud that I'm out of that now, and I'm just really happy that I'm able to get my validation elsewhere. I'm still learning though when it comes to entertaining the male gaze. It's hard to fully stop trying to do that. So don't think I'm some kind of expert. I just don't go clubbing to attract men anymore. I'm in a relationship, I know, but before I was in a relationship, I stopped doing that, and it was a breath of fresh air. The cinnamon is making me choke. Young Alessia would be beaming to see this modern day new Alessia, because I have a really healthy relationship with my body now. Obviously, I'm only human. I have moments where I feel insecure, particularly when I'm in a bikini. And I would say that they're just small moments. They're not big, monumental, negative spirals anymore. I'm very good at kind of talking to myself and wearing myself down and saying, look, no, it's just because of society. You're beautiful, you're kind, you're this, you're that. Male attention's not important, blah, blah, blah. I'm really good at making sense of everything. When I was younger, like many women, I had a very complicated relationship with my body. I didn't really like it. I would use food and speech to kind of work through that in an unhealthy way. And it's changed now. I don't follow any diets anymore. I used to be so obsessed with dieting, especially at uni, because at uni you get the freedom to cook for yourself. That's if you're not in a catered accommodation. And luckily I opted to cook for myself from the get-go, from first year. And I'm really glad I did that, because I learned to cook. Man, I made some mistakes. I remember I burnt kale chips so badly. So I just cut kale up to make kale, not chips, crisps. And it just looked like volcanic ash when I took it out of the tray. But yeah, I learned to cook, and I also took advantage of that independence with food and tried these diets that weren't so great. Like I tried the keto diet, I tried fasting, which led to me almost fainting down the stairs. So I really have had a complicated relationship with food in the past, which I wouldn't really have admitted then. I now eat intuitively, and there are moments where I feel bad because I have too much dessert, but I eat dessert if I want dessert, and I eat if I'm hungry, and I eat bread and I eat pasta, and I don't really restrict that, and that's really nice for me. But everyone to their own, each to their own, and I'm not going to go into any more detail with that. I'm just really happy to be out of that funk in terms of food, because I'm Italian. I enjoy nice food, and food is a big part of my culture and my family. And there is a fly in here. Perfect for filming. Okay, also with my body, don't click off, don't go red, or you can go red, it's your life, but masturbation. I have explored my body. I know my intimate side now. I'm in touch with her. Something I need to be more in touch with, just knowing what my girl parts look like. My yoni, as Hitomi says. She's a great YouTuber, you should watch her. She explains so much about... Anyway, I'm not going to go into that because it's going to turn into a Hitomi promotion video because I'm so obsessed with her. I haven't actually watched any of her videos in a while. Comment down below if you watch her. Now, pause the video because I really want to know, and I know you'll forget because this video is going to be long. We grow up as women feeling really ashamed that we want to have sex and that we want to do sexy things with our bodies and be intimate, and there's just so much shame around it, and it sucks because boys were afforded the privilege of being able to talk about touching themselves, and it was something to be proud of, whereas women were shamed for even thinking of doing such a thing. And I think that's now disconnected us from our yonis. It takes us a long time to actually explore our intimate side and masturbate and pleasure ourselves. And I think that's so important, and it's so empowering for a woman. So empowering. It's annoying that it takes us so long to feel like, oh, maybe I should explore that now, because I'm learning that that's not something to feel embarrassed about. That's kind of a necessity if I want to have good sex. I'm burping and it's really gross. I need to know myself in an intimate way in order to help other people know me in intimate ways. Partners. We all work so differently, so there's not like a guidebook, a manual to a woman's body. So I think we have to explore if we want to have good sex with other people, but also good sex with ourselves. As Florence Given said, she's a feminist writer, get a mirror and have a look down there too. Really connect with your vagina, your vagine. I know that's uncomfortable, and it's something I really need to do. But I feel uncomfortable looking there, and I think that's intentional, not on my behalf, but on like patriarchal society's behalf. They want women to feel disconnected from their parts. Then it makes us feel like we can't enjoy what our parts can provide for us. That's all for the men. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna have a quick sip. Cheers. I love that you're watching this with me. I genuinely feel like there's a presence in the room right now as I'm talking. It's really lovely. I feel really connected to all my YouTube subscribers and like the people that comment on my videos at the moment. So thank you for commenting. Like, there are some people. Lucy. Men measure their willies. They know them inside out. Women are often the opposite. We don't like to look at our lady bits. I always found it uncomfortable. I think that's intentional. That's patriarchy controlling women's bodies. Yonis, vaginas, or whatever you want to call them, aren't for women to enjoy. They are for men to enjoy and control. Hence, abortion laws. And I go off on a bit of a tangent, but what I'm basically trying to say is, I think it's a female empowering act to masturbate and to be like, forget you, I'm going to touch myself. It's not gross. It's not weird. You men do it. I've really got to know my body and what I enjoy, and that has empowered me so much. I also think it just means that you don't have to rely on men to pleasure you, to give you like sexual pleasure. If you masturbate, I never know how to say it, masturbate or masturbate. If you masturbate, then you can provide yourself with that intimacy. Please click off if you are a family member watching this. I do remember when I was younger thinking like, oh, I'm feeling a certain way right now, which means I want to go and like meet someone so I can do stuff. God, I'm being very vague. I just think masturbation means that you can say, I just don't need anyone. You can pleasure yourself, and that gives you the power. And I think that's why women are discouraged from a young age to masturbate, because they want women to still be patty in men's hands. But when women can touch themselves and give themselves pleasure, boy, you've got another thing coming. Enjoy your vagina. Okay, last on the relationship with my body thing, another reason why it's in this really positive space. I talk about it in such a friendly way. When I was younger, I used to be quite critical of my body, and I'd have that kind of self-deprecating humour with my friends. And I don't do that anymore. In fact, if I have a moment where I do feel insecure and I think, oh my gosh, I'm not wearing makeup, I can't be in this group of this big group of guys right now because I don't look good, I'll say, no. The right people will love you for what you have to say, not what you look like. And if you're not wearing makeup right now, you're not looking like your best self, good. That means if people are interested in you, you're more likely to believe that it's because of your personality. And to be honest, I just want to speed up the process of meeting the right people. And I want the right people to come to me. And the right people are people that like me for my personality and who I am when I feel insecure, or if I have those moments where I'm like, you need to look a certain way. I'll say, it's okay, it's not your job to look good for other people. And if other people want you to look good for them, then you don't want them in your life anyway. So look bad. Hey Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 4:25 p.m.
Oh, la la la. The people in my life right now that bring positive energy are people that appreciate me. What am I doing with the spoon? The people that, this is ADHD. Oh, crap. It's probably quite annoying for you, so I'll stop that. The people that appreciate me for who I am and what I have to say are the people that boost my self-esteem and make me feel safe in the world. Looking a certain way just doesn't, I don't even really need to factor that in with those people. And that's the kind of people I want to continue attracting. People that want to be friends with me because of what's going on in here, not what's going on out here. So whenever I have a moment where I don't feel good enough out here, I'll just say, it's okay. I'm trying to attract people by what's going on in here. Not looking good actually might warn off people, and those are the people that I don't want in my life anyway, so au revoir. I used to look at myself in the reflection of cars and shop windows and be like, oh, I wish that was slimmer, and I feel like I was on a mission to lose weight all the time. I just really care about my body, and I really care about nurturing me as a whole, because then I'm able to articulate my ideas and be a good friend, and that's the most important thing. I really feel like you're here. The cinnamon is choking me. I've not mixed it well. Young Alessia would just be so damn happy with Alessia now. Young me would be like, what? Young me would be so happy to hear that I've got a YouTube channel. Young me didn't really know what YouTube was. I mean, young me. But in terms of university Alessia and secondary school Alessia, she would be in awe of the confidence that I have now to put my ideas out into the world. And I have confidence, and I am pretty unapologetic now with my media, social media presence. I am not really embarrassed at all. Obviously, there are moments where people are like, oh, you do YouTube? And I've never actually had this, but if someone was like, oh, let's watch one of your videos in front of you, that might make me uncomfortable. But maybe that's just because I don't like the sound of my own voice, and I don't know. If I knew that that person was going to watch my video at home, in bed, without me there, then I'd be like, I don't know why I included in bed, that sounds kind of sexual. I don't mean it in that way. But if I knew that they were going to watch it, but without me there, I'd be fine with it. At primary school, so young Alessia, I was so shy, and I didn't really say anything. I was so quiet. My input would be to do something silly. So if you compare that to me now, my main input with my friends now is saying something about something I care about. As a friend, I'm not the silly one as much anymore. But I love that, and I just love the place that I'm in, and I do think YouTube has really helped me massively to get... Just checking that's not my parents. YouTube has really helped me to get to that point. I don't feel the need to dress... Let's just make sure my boobs aren't out still. I don't feel the need to dress my successes down at all. I don't feel the need to be overly humble. I just feel the need to be proud of myself now. I remember at uni I had a lot of quite strong opinions forming and brewing that I never voiced. And it wasn't until I started posting on YouTube that I was like, frick it, don't want to swear. I think once you start posting on YouTube, on social media, because you're posting to such hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people, maybe more than that, when you're in that circumstance where you're talking to one person about something you believe in, and if it's a bit uncomfortable, you're like, well, I've posted this online and hundreds of people have seen this, so I can tell this one person. This is going to sound narcissistic, but it's not. It's a way of loving myself and looking after myself and reflecting on stuff that I'm proud on. I watch my YouTube videos back sometimes, and I'm just filled with so much pride. There are moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. I don't agree with that anymore, or oh, it's a bit cringy. But 90% of the time, I'm so proud of myself. I work really hard on the videos that I put on YouTube, and I just think young Alessia would be so proud of the stuff that I say as well, and how I say it, and how the reasoning behind why I'm saying it all. I don't know. It's really nice. It's magical. Dun, 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 dun. I can accept compliments. I feel like I can vocalise my pride now, and I do that all the time. I actually did that the other day with my mum's friend. I said, that I've come a really long way, and I'm really happy with it in terms of my YouTube, so There's something very liberating about posting on social media to like a larger audience. It makes everything else seem small, so it makes everything else in like real life easier. Not everything, but moments where I voice my opinions and just authentically be myself. It's a bit easier when you do it online too. Young me would be like, she's so cool, she's connecting with people in the USA, in India. I have that because of my YouTube, and young me would be like, what a businesswoman. I'm boiling, I'm right next to the radiator. I think I'm progressively getting redder and redder. Okay, so I've been doing my YouTube channel for a while now. I'm on my journey towards, making it my full-time job, and I'm on my journey to getting my like dream life, dream house, apartment, whatever. And also when I say dream life and dream career, I mean in a capitalist world. Obviously, if we're talking dream, I wouldn't exist in a capitalist world, and I'd just be floating in a waterfall, eating a watermelon, connecting with kind people all the time. But we live in a capitalist society, so in a capitalist context, why can't I speak? In a capitalist context, I am pursuing my dream job, I'm pursuing my dream life, and every day I'm acting on that, which makes me, in my eyes, successful already. Because they always say it's not about the journey, it's about, it's not about the end goal, it's about the journey. And I'm on the journey, and I'm putting myself on the journey every single day, and it's about turning up. So I can be proud of myself. It doesn't matter if I'm at the destination yet. I'm every day showing up and pouring love and energy into my dream situation, so I'm proud. You don't have to have the dream job or have the dream apartment. You just need to be actively pursuing it. Obviously, I do have the luxury to pursue my dream job, and some people don't have that, and that sucks, and I wish that everyone could pursue their dream job. And if you have the space to do that, I really encourage you to do that, because I just think the world would be a much better place if more people could, or everyone could, pursue a job that would make them happy. Another reason why younger Alessia would be proud is because of how forgiving I have become. Obviously this is older younger Alessia, because young Alessia just wasn't thinking that deep. But like university Alessia, I think, struggled with the idea of forgiving people. I harboured a lot of upsetment and hate and resentment towards people. I think because I still had to work through my own insecurities, and I still had to learn how to value myself. So when people didn't value me, I'd think, well, I don't value me, so I kind of agree, so it would hit harder. But I do think I find forgiving people so much easier, and it helps me let go of things. And I've let go of so many bad experiences with friends and family members, and it's tough and it took time, and I think you should allow yourself that time. But I've got there. Now, only thing I want to talk about is quickly toxic forgiveness. It's like toxic positivity, because in the health and wellness industry, there's such a narrative on forgive them, oh my gosh, you've held a grudge, oh you're grumpy, oh you should let that go because then you'll thrive, and otherwise you're just choosing to be stressed. That's not a very thoughtful thing to encourage people to just forgive like that. And that's toxic, because forgiveness can't just come like that. It's a process. You need to take time to process what's happened to you, maybe journal, maybe speak to a therapist, and also the other person needs to reflect on the damage they've done. If they don't face any consequences, then they're going to repeat damaging patterns and hurting people. So forgiveness is an interesting one, and it's one I think people like me need to be careful with. I shouldn't just encourage people to just forgive, because forgiving can be hard, and some things are unforgivable and unforgettable, and that's okay. It's not okay that that's happened to you, but it's okay that you choose not to forgive someone. I just hope you can move past it in some kind of way and not let it live in you. Toxic positivity is when you pretend to be unharmed and you pretend to be over something, when really you're storing up so much so much anger and resentment, and you're bitter. So that's why forgiving quickly isn't always the best route. Quite often it isn't. If someone's upset you, you need to process the pain. Look at all this cinnamon at the bottom. Another reason why young Alessia would be so proud of who I am today is because I own mistakes, which means they don't stay with me. Obviously, there are times where it's difficult and you get a bit defensive and you make it about you and you forget to acknowledge the other person's perspective, although I'm usually quite good at being quite empathetic. But yeah, there are moments where you think too much about yourself. I'm human, just want to specify that I'm not perfect, and this isn't just me saying you are rubbish and I'm amazing. But I can take criticism on board, and I want to, because as humans we are imperfect, which means we're going to hurt people, and we need to be open to that fact. Obviously do everything in your pathway to be kind and treat people in the best way you can, but also be open to the fact that you're going to make mistakes. So learn from them, take accountability, like apologize, and then move on, and like just keep it in your head and keep that lesson with you so you grow as a person. I think at university I considered myself a shy, introverted, caring person. So I thought, because I'm all these things, I don't hurt people. I don't think I ever actively thought that, but I think subconsciously I thought that, which meant I didn't really take accountability for some of the things that went on in my friendships at that time. I wasn't able to be like critical of how I handled things in friendships and own my mistakes. But now I'm very happy to acknowledge where I've gone wrong. Obviously, sometimes you need a moment when you've been told you're in the wrong to just sit with it and maybe be a bit angry, but then also reason with yourself and then come to the person and maybe say sorry. But yeah, I'm so much better at owning my mistakes. I think younger me felt that I couldn't do that because it felt risky. I can't really explain that, but yeah. I actually owned one of my mistakes the other day on FaceTime with my boyfriend. I was just really upset. I was in a really emotional state, I think, because I was on my period. So I was just getting really upset at everything, and I was short with him, and then I hung up, took some time, and then went back to him, and I was like, I'm so sorry, you didn't deserve that. And after I felt really good having owned that mistake, because I could move on then. And it feels good to say sorry to other people. And I'm just really proud of myself, because I can remember so many times when I knew I was in the wrong, but never admitted it and never said sorry, when I was really young especially, but also when I was at uni. If you're a woman, you probably grew up believing that beauty is synonymous with pain, being in pain. Cinnamon. No pain, no gain. I think that can be quite a dangerous thing to learn. I no longer believe that looking beautiful is more important than being comfortable. And I think that's also tied in with male validation becoming less relevant in my mind every day. So I want to be validated in terms of people liking who I am and what I believe in, and thinking I'm really caring and interesting and intelligent, so I can turn to my inner self to do the work and to attract people, which means I can now be like, okay, comfort over beauty. If I'm comfortable, I'm going to be able to hold a better conversation with someone, so of course that's more important. I still want to look good, hence why I'm wearing an itchy cardigan for this video, even though it's really uncomfortable. It's actually quite bad that I'm saying that I put comfort over beauty when I'm uncomfortable in this cardigan, but it's only for a very short period, and I really like the colour. Oh, cinnamon. Now when I look in my closet, most days I'll just be like, what's comfortable? Then I'll be like, what colours do I like? Because I will choose a colour and I like to wear as much of that colour as possible. I'd love to have a wardrobe where it's filled with like full outfits of one colour. Like I'd love to just one day wear all green and then all red the next day. I think that looks really cool. That's my definition of what's fashionable, and I think it should vary depending on the individual. Annoyingly, in our society, in our culture, there's one like quite fixed beauty standard, quite fixed standard of what's, fashionable, but I'm deviating from that, and I'm focusing on being comfortable and on wearing things that I think look cool. I have sensory overload, as you know, so I like to wear like yoga pants and soft tops and baggy trousers, and more I'm kind of getting rid of those uncomfortable items of clothing. Even if they look good, I'm not wanting to wear them. I just really quickly want to say that I'm obviously privileged in that I'm white, able-bodied, cisgendered, slim, so I can afford to not put lots of time and effort into my appearance, into changing my appearance or enhancing my appearance. I'm very fortunate that I don't need to do that because I can walk out the door and be safe. I can afford to pay less attention to my looks because I have pretty privilege. Yeah, because I am white, cisgendered, able-bodied, that's everything that affords you space to just kind of like, oh, not touch your hair, no makeup look. Others don't have that luxury to focus on like comfort. So just thought that was really important to mention. I grew up thinking that beauty is synonymous with pain, and at uni I would wear these like tiny outfits in the middle of winter and I'd get colds all the time, and I would actually feel quite uncomfortable because they felt overly feminine and I wanted to dress a bit more androgynous, and I don't know, it didn't feel right at all. The only thing that did feel right was attracting men at the time, and I'm just so done with doing that. And I'm really glad I'm in that place, and I'm really glad that I'm looking after feels like another way that I'm looking after my body as well by wearing comfy clothing. It just feels like I'm hugging myself by doing that. I'm really starting to step away from subscribing to what culture deems fashionable and beautiful. Okay, beautiful people, the last reason as to why I'm so proud young Alessia would look up to current Alessia, because I have the best friends ever. And when I was younger, I was pretty much walked all over by my friends, and they laughed at me, talked behind my back, the usual. I'm sure so many of you can relate. I just wasn't myself, and I wasn't treated well by my friends. I probably had one good friend, but now I have this like friendship group that's stunning and they all make me feel intelligent, caring, beautiful. I don't feel like I need to dress down my successes with them. They want me to be my best self, and they care so much about me, and I know that they won't tell me to wear the uglier outfit. They don't want me to look bad at all. They want me to be successful, and I'm so like excited that I've got that. And I know young Alessia would have killed for that, because I did such stupid things to try and get like a tiny bit of approval from my friends, a tiny bit of like a smile or a bit of warmth from them. I remember just embarrassing myself to make them laugh, because that was the only way I knew to like stay in the friendship group. I really struggled. I was so lonely at school, and I remember eating lunch in the toilets often, or just standing around in the toilets until break time was over. I just felt so alienated and so alone, and I'm so happy that I've got this really healthy group of friends, and it was mainly due to, again, my YouTube and putting myself out there online and my ideas and sitting with who I am and then showcasing it, because it brought the right people to me, literally to me on Instagram, them messaging me. And it took me being brave, so then also agreeing to go for coffee with these people I'd never met. It took me being brave to forge these like incredible friendships that have basically made me who I am, all the best parts of who I am. These friends have given me the energy and the like confidence to just be like, F it, I don't care. I'm so proud to be who I am. These friends have given me the audacity to be myself completely and be really proud of it, even when others roll their eyes or get annoyed. I remember that I've got those friends, and I think I know they're proud of me, so I can do this. They know who they are. I love you. I want you to make your own list now, if you've got the time, of course. I think everyone should reflect on why they're proud of themselves, because it's such a nice like therapeutic thing to do. And yes, you need to, reflect on what you do wrong and how you can improve, but also it's so good to reward yourself and applaud yourself, and I think we don't do that enough. So please go and do that now. I love you lots. Please subscribe, like, share and comment, and I will see you in my next video.